Okay, episode 3, go with your gut every time. Y'all, I'm excited. We are finally finished with the tiny house. It is now April 2nd, 1st? It's April 1st. April 1st. It's April 1st and we are completely finished. So I want to show y'all how it looks on the inside. I've already started to get it rented out. It's listed on Airbnb. We have guests coming in tomorrow as well, and I've already made my money back, at least for the first month. If you were to break the payments down by month, I've made that back already. So let's go inside and see how it's looking. So starting out, we have obviously a keypad lock. You gotta have a keypad lock on all of your Airbnb listings, but I have one specifically here because I want them to be able to come in by themselves. I don't want to have to meet them for any of that. So that's why I have a keypad on all of my listings. So that's the first feature about this. All right. So we're inside. And as y'all remember, it's a lofted style tiny house, right? So you step right inside and immediately you are able to get a glance of yourself within the mirror by the door, but then you come by and you're immediately within the living room area. So I decided to go with bright yellow and a deep blue just to kind of begin to bring out the color within this house because it gets a lot of sunlight, as you can tell. So this is just a living area. You know, they can kick back, pull this over, just a little side table, kick back, you know, chill, and of course, watch TV because we did put a TV in here. So you look immediately across the living area. We have a 32-inch TV, Roku TV, where guests are able to stream. They can set up their HDMI, do whatever they want. Now, right underneath the TV, we have what is called, I call it like the breakfast bar area. I like to leave a couple snacks here. You know, the Cheetos is fire for everybody. I like to leave a couple snacks here, and it can fit just about 2 people right underneath. It's a small space. I don't allow more than 2 people inside, but it gives them what they need and gives them what they need to do what they need to do and want to do. Past the breakfast bar, you then step into the kitchen, which it is a full kitchen, right? So we have the sink, we have a fridge, and there is this really nifty and cool induction cooktop. So you can just tap a button on here, choose which one you want to light up, and then literally in like 2 or 3 minutes or less, it fires away. And I definitely recommend this for anyone who's looking to actually get started with their own tiny house as well. These are so dope because really now, since we have air fryers too, you don't need an oven in here on the real, like not at all. So this is good, and then we can put an air fryer in here if they ever wanted to just make something in an oven-like space, especially with a little microwave. And then of course coffee for the guests as well. Y'all know that initially I was supposed to be living in here. So I do want to re-clarify that I no longer will be living in this space. And I'm kind of sad about it too because unfortunately I haven't even had a chance to stay in this house one night. Immediately when they got done, it was booked. Like I listed it on Airbnb before we even finished it completely. Had kind of like some starter photos and people were still booking. So I haven't been able to stay in this house, but I do want to make it a point to stay in it sometime, at least once within the next couple of months. But we haven't really had any complaints. So again, full sink, full kitchen, and a full fridge that they can just open. I decided not to go with the mini fridge route because eventually, and even right now, I'm starting to look into whether or not I want to begin hosting travel nurses. And typically they'll stay for a couple weeks to a month on end. And they're gonna need somewhere to hold all of their goodies, all of their snacks, food, all of that. So I wanted to make sure that we have a full fridge within here. Now, behind this beautiful barn door that you all saw me staying is our full bathroom. So you come in here, and we have a full bathroom. So you all have seen me stand within this space before when it was not finished. We didn't have the toilet, didn't have the sink, all of that. Now it is completely finished. We got a cute little mirror, fixtures, all of that within here. And then obviously the toilet. We've got the 2-button flush, because we don't do the side button no more. 2-button flush, and of course these amazing and beautiful glass doors. Glass doors were honestly, glass shower doors were a must within this bathroom in particular because I knew that if I did any other door, it was going to feel extremely small in this space. So I wanted to make sure that it was glass and that I also had, again, more light coming through with the window that we have within the shower as well. And we haven't had any complaints from guests. The house on this side actually faces to the back, and there's just more greenery and forest, so not too much to worry about as far as people peeking in and looking. Now, that is the bathroom, and you've seen the kitchen, you've seen the living room, and you're probably wondering, where's the bed? Where the hell are people sleeping, right? So we come around here to this ladder again that I stained as well, and this is how the guests are actually going to get up to the loft area where they can then sleep. So I call it a sleeping area rather than a bedroom because it's not a room, it's just a loft. So you can come up here, they'll climb up. The clearance is, you know, all right, but I have had a grown man stay in here already that booked. He was one of the first guests, and he was about 6'1", and he was all right up here. He said he liked it. So we come up, and there's the bed up here. We have the queen mattress, and then it's really, we also made it a point to add an outlet up here as well. So I won't get in the bed because we have a guest coming tomorrow, and that's unsanitary. However, it is a queen mattress that I have up here. So guests are able to come up here, bring their phones, and then I was hoping that we would be able to make it to where they're up here and they can also see the TV. But unfortunately, with the way the bed is, they can't do that unless they decide that they want their heads to be this way and then their feet to be that way, and they can kind of see it here. But that's really the only downside to it. We did make sure to make this area carpeted, just so that it feels a little more cozy. Because if you guys are not familiar, I brand all of my Airbnbs. So the first one that I have that you guys might have seen within episode 1 is the Cozy Escape. The other one that I have about a couple blocks away is called the Boutique Escape. And then I decided to name this one the Cove Escape. So more of like a small cove, beach house type of vibe is what we're giving within here. So that's everything regarding bedroom, living room, and then of course, I wanted to make sure that we had a little bit of space within here as well. So even though I couldn't get all of the storage space that I wanted initially, which is why I'm not staying in the house anymore, I did want to make sure that we have a full closet. So within this full closet, this is where I keep cleaning supplies. So broom, mop, all of that good stuff, in addition to just laundry and linens for my cleaners. Again, I never want to have to meet anyone here. I want them to just come in, let themselves in, and be able to do whatever they need to do. So we've equipped it with an ironing board. We have a small handheld vacuum, couple extra sheets and blankets for the guests as well. So they can see all of that, get in there, and then quickly close it, and it hides everything right there. And the kitchen is where more or the rest of the storage space that we have is. So right up underneath here, just to give you an idea of how spacious the cabinets are, I'm able to fit like all of my tissues, all of the paper towels right within this cabinet here, and that's where we put it. Within this one, there's a couple extra snacks that we leave out for guests, some waters, and then of course we have the pots and pans, dishes, and then right underneath the kitchen sink is where we have a few more of the cleaning supplies as well. So it's really a full house, like seriously a full house. And I'm excited to stay in here myself just to get a day to kind of feel it out, see how it is actually showering in the shower, staying in the bed. But right now, the guests are absolutely loving it. So what we're gonna go in, and I'm gonna show you guys my numbers as far as right now what I've been able to make since listing it. I listed it, we had our first guest, I believe, on the 13th or 14th. So it's been about 2 weeks. It is the first, it's been 2 weeks exactly. So we're gonna look at those numbers and see how we're doing, and it's looking good, I will say, but it's also feeling good. So we're gonna hop into that. Okay, so we are talking numbers. We are talking the entire experience with building all of this, and then why the hell this entire build for this tiny house that is less than 300 square feet took so long. This entire build in total took nearly 6 months. And just to give you some insight into why it took so long, right? First, I will take some accountability, and then I'm going to put the blame on other people. Number one, I should have done better research or more in-depth research in regards to who I brought on my team for the build. Now, I did do that research, I will say, and I had rendered services from someone who was very credible, not someone, an organization who was very credible, and then they were kind of dragging their feet, and because I was so gung-ho on getting this listed by the end of 2020, and it still didn't even get listed by the end of 2020, I ended up not going with them and waiting when they were available, and then I went with someone else. And the other contractors that I then went with had no idea what the hell they were doing. They definitely looked the part. They looked the part in regards to saying that they knew what they were doing. They could probably do some handyman work, but to build an entire house, they were not qualified at all. So after that, because you all saw it in episode 1, episode 2, fired the first set of contractors. A second set then came through. Second set of contractors came through, and this is the piece that's the hardest with being in real estate how I am and being a woman, a young woman, because sometimes people they want to take advantage, and this is a male-dominated field. And then even furthermore, in terms of contractors, they're typically male as well. So it was a lot with the second contractors. It was really a matter of it just became inappropriate. I guess he was attracted to me, and then feelings got involved, not in that way, but just his feelings were a little hurt when I then brought one of my homies to come and ask him about the numbers in regards to, are we actually doing this within budget? Is this actually a credible number that you're giving me? Because looking back on it now, and after I did bring my friend out, I was being overcharged extremely. And because I had already fired the first contractors, I was willing to just pay some money to get it done and try to get it completed and finished. And he slightly took advantage of that. So nonetheless, I'm very happy to be finished now, but that is one of the primary reasons that it really took so long. And not only did we go over budget, but we are very much behind schedule. So that was that entire experience. Now, starting out from the beginning, this entire inception of the tiny house came, I would say, like Q2 of 2020. Sometime during Q2, while quarantine had just happened, I was trying to figure out how I wanted to continue to expand my business, and then even furthermore, just utilize the space in my backyard. So I decided to go the tiny house route. Again, did a lot of research, and I have a ton of documentation. So if you are interested in that information, you can shoot me an email. I'll include my email in the description. But you can shoot me an email. I'll send you that information. But I did a ton of research. I have a ton of spreadsheets, documents, all of that. And I pretty much designed all of this, which that is the main piece that's making me so happy to be sitting in this house right now, is because I designed where the closet was going to go, to the loft. The measurements of everything came from my own mind. So to sit here now in a house that is completely functional, completely livable, and is now making me money, and I'm able to pay my rent, pay my mortgages at other places, it's dope. It's just so crazy, honestly. So crazy. So that's been the overall experience. And I know the main question that people are really looking at is, how much did you spend on this? So I will give y'all exact numbers, and I'll give you what, at the beginning, how much money I had anticipated or budgeted for, and then how much we actually ended up spending. All of it, I will say, some people look at losing money and they look at it like a loss. They look at it, as a bad thing. And losing money is bad, but I will say that it's like I never try to look at anything as a loss, even though very much in the moment, when everything was hitting the fan and the contractors were not working out, I was crying tears all the time. Y'all saw it in the videos. Even with all of that, I still feel like this was just a huge lesson learned, because this was my first build, and I'm glad that I was able to do this and create this house, and it's a smaller scale, right? Because I do want to start doing this on a larger scale with full houses, single family homes, maybe multi-units and things like that. So that's where we're at with it. Now, when we're looking at financials, what I had expected, right? So initially this build was supposed to take 4 to 6 weeks, which, looking back on it now with everything that we have in here, everything that needed to be done, and then on top of that, everything that was on my plate at the time, 4 to 6 week was a very aggressive timeline. Now, that's what we expected it to take. It actually ended up taking 20 weeks for this entire build to be completed, from the start of actually getting the shed delivered and digging down the lines, to actually hitting publish on Airbnb. Now, aside from that, initially you all know that this was also supposed to be my personal space. I wanted to live in the backyard of the main house that I Airbnb, and then just be able to, tend to guests as I please, and also downsize on everything that I have and kind of live a minimalist lifestyle. That didn't work out because we ended up being over budget, and I needed a place to stay ASAP. So at that point, and then on top of that, with the contractors, the first set of contractors promised me a ton of space, a ton of storage. They were able to build this, do that, extra closets, hidden storage, all kinds of things. And when I fired them, the actual contractors that then came in, who were credible, it's not possible, or it wasn't possible with where my budget with where my budget stood at the moment. So that's where we were with it. And now you all know that I'm posted on Airbnb, and this is now my third listing. So now that this is my third listing, it is up, and we're good. So from expected to actual, expected time to build 4 to 6 weeks, actual was 20 weeks. And then even furthermore, the expected goal was for me to stay here. Now we are actually just using this as an Airbnb unit. Now, when we're looking at numbers and financials, right, I will just say the overall number first, and then I'm going to dive into what some of this means. I expected or had budgeted for about $25,000 to $29,000 to be spent on this tiny house, which is still cheap. It's on the cheaper end for a tiny house, because tiny houses on average can run you between, I would say, depending on like something like this that's updated and renovated, can run you anywhere from like $35,000 to $50,000. So my $25,000 to $29,000 was still on the lower end, which I'm glad I did, because what we actually spent, JP's gonna put it on the screen, what we actually spent is $34,847.05 to a T is what we spent. And when I'm looking at how much over budget that is, that's about $5,000 to $9,000 over budget. Now, understanding that the second contractors had to completely demolish the bathroom, and then I have gone through a set of like 3 sets of contractors. When you look at the discrepancy between those two, it's honestly not too bad for as many things that had gone wrong with this house. From the plumbing to having to rerun the electric lines, demo the bathroom, like all of that. So when I look at the $34,000, I look at it in terms of the average one cost about $35,000 to $50,000. I'm still on the lower end of what that average price for a tiny house is. So I'm feeling good. Okay, so looking at numbers in terms of what we are doing now with the tiny house, now that you know what's been going on, you know how I've been able to get everything up, running, what are the numbers looking like now that we are 2 weeks out, now that it's been rented? I think 2 or 3 weeks. We got started renting it on March 13th, which is also my birthday. And that's when we had our very first guest. And then today is April 1st. And between that time, so between March 13th and April 1st, this tiny house right now, it was booked. It was not completely booked for all of those days. I think we had about 4 or 5 open days, but the income earned from that at this point is $1,185.43, which I'm really happy about. Because right now, as you guys know, I bought the shed outright. So when buying the shed outright, if you break it down in terms of how much the monthly payment would have been for it, it was around, I would say, I think $418 when I spread it out, about $418. So the fact that we are at $1,185.43, and this house does not have any bills. So now that I've spent all of the money to get it built, I've spent the money to purchase the structure, there are no bills. So everything that I am now earning is going either into my pocket or into what I am now paying off on my credit cards, based on what we have going on. So how that number came about, because right now the tiny house is currently listed for about $79 a night on average, and that is also in addition to the cleaning fee that is, I believe, $65 or $80, one of the two. I'll have to double check, but that is where we're at. So there have been 5 bookings thus far, and most people typically do tend to stay, I'm finding, within this house at least 2 or 3 nights. It's a lot of couples. I've had some individuals who are just in town for work book it as well. And that's what we're starting to get. But as mentioned earlier, I am looking at the numbers, running it to see whether or not it would be lucrative for me to host nurses or travel nurses within the tiny house, or actually just keep it on Airbnb. And my only hesitation with that is because part of me feels like I can make more money just renting it out on Airbnb. However, I still need to think about the fact that when I'm doing Airbnb, there's a constant turnover, which means that I'm paying for cleanings as well. Now, the cleanings for the tiny house are not that expensive, but the more bookings that you have, the more that it adds up. So the benefit of actually going the travel nurse route would be that they would be in here for weeks on end, or months on, or a month or two on end. And at that point, my cleaner wouldn't have to come back. I would not have to pay my cleaner to come, and I would be getting all of that money, and there would be one cleaning before and then one cleaning after, and they would do the cleaning on the interior following that. So I'm excited because within those days, like I said, if you add up all of the days that we were booked, I think it was about 12 days out of the 14 or 15 that it's been, I believe. The 14 or 15 that it's been, I got to look at the numbers to make sure I'm giving y'all the right thing. But nonetheless, my goal for the whole month, or a month, each month this year with the Airbnb moving forward, is to do at least $3,000. The fact that I was able to do that almost $1,200 within those couple of days, within those 2 weeks that we've been on Airbnb, I know that I should be able to run it up, because I'm also just now listing it at a introductory price. So that $79 a night is not going to stay. It will increase, and especially since we are now in the summer months as well, it's definitely going to increase a little more, and it's going to have some more traffic once we add the outdoor amenities that are here as well. Now, aside from the tiny house, I want to kind of dive into the numbers overall for Airbnb with all of my listings, because if I recall, I believe it was episode 2, I showed you all the numbers that I had made at the end of 2020. And at the end of 2020, I believe I was right about, I did end up hitting my $50,000 goal. And I realized I hit it because there were a few reservations that I actually rendered or took off of the Airbnb platform, and they paid me either via Zelle, Cash App, or what have you. Those are for separate reasons. But nonetheless, now within 2021, we are in April, it's April 1st. I am already slated to make, I don't know if y'all can see it, but the expected earnings right now is about $22,500 already, and we are only in April. So I know now that I have this listing, and then even furthermore, I've placed the other listing that I have back on Airbnb, that number is going to go up even more, because during Q1, the only listing that I actually had was one property, because this was not finished yet, and then I was staying in my second property due to some other reasons. So now that I have all 3 that are active and listed, my goal for this whole year is $100,000 on Airbnb from these listings, and I'm hoping to acquire at least one or two more prior to the end of the year to add to my portfolio. So at this point, the Q1 total earnings for Mobley, so for the Cozy Escape, plus the slight money, or the $1,200 that we've made from the tiny house during the month of March, that is equal to about $15,516.43. So that is the total Q1 earnings. Now, in order for me to hit the goal that I wanted to hit, and my laptop just went dead, so we about to freestyle it. In order for me to get the goal that I actually wanted to hit, I would have had to make the 25, or I would not have had to make, but I was expecting to make at least 25,000 or wanting to hit 25,000 each quarter. Now, obviously, I did not hit that mark. I missed it right by about, I believe, about $9,600, if I recall my numbers correctly. So now what I've done is I've cascaded that about $9,600 across the remaining 3 quarters to figure out how much it is that I need to make each quarter moving forward. Now that now is right around $28,000. And if I can be completely honest with you all, I'm ready to do it, and I feel like we can hit it. I feel like I will hit it, and when I do, I'm gonna get back on here and I'm gonna show y'all that I hit it. So that's where we're at with all of the Airbnb numbers. So this entire docuseries is sponsored by Airbnb Money, and Airbnb Money is the platform I created to pretty much teach and show people the journey that I've gone through with my Airbnb. So listing in my houses, my apartments, the tiny house, and then actually making money and being able to fund my lifestyle, fund my living with that. So you can find Airbnb at Airbnb Money on Instagram. And just last month, we actually released an ebook, the Airbnb Money ebook, which is the complete guide to starting, managing, and optimizing your Airbnb business. Included in there is like budgeting, figuring out which type of property you want to list, where is the best locations to begin listing that, communicating with guests, automating your systems, finding cleaners. It's 50 pages, 10 chapters of tons of information related to my own journey with getting started. So you can find all of that information at the Airbnb Money Instagram. And then I just want to close y'all out with the top 3 lessons I learned from all of this, right? So number 1, first lesson. You need to find a mentor within this space. Finding a mentor is going to help you in terms of guiding you with the decisions that you're making. My biggest mistake was not having a mentor, or at least someone who could serve as a sounding board for the decisions that I was making. And that definitely came to bite me in the long run, because now I'm paying for that literally and figuratively with the money out of my pocket. Lesson number 2 is you need to make sure that you are paying your contractors in draws. What do I mean by draws? Draws is paying the contractors for work completed, work that they have completed or will complete in that specific time period. Not necessarily paying them half up front and then half later when they're done, but pay them. If you gonna paint, okay, cool, I'm gonna pay you to paint, and once you paint, then we're gonna look at what I need to pay you next. But you need to pay them as they complete the work, because the first set of contractors, I nearly paid them all of the money that I was slated to pay them. And then I had to get the entire thing, the entire bathroom demoed. They did none of it right, get the walls redone. It was just a fucking mess. So pay in draws. And the last and final lesson that I have for you is to just go with your fucking gut every single time. Had I gone with my gut, not even just in terms of this build, but just over the last 12 months in general, with a lot of the decisions that I've made, the things that I've done, the experiences that I've endured, had I gone with my gut initially, I would have saved myself a lot of stress. I would be in a much better position. And it's not necessarily to say that I'm not in a good position right now, because I very much am, but I would be in a better position had I trusted myself from the jump. So that's what y'all need to do. So those are my top 3 lessons I have to just leave y'all with. If you want to keep up with me, you can keep up with me at Precious C Price across all platforms. I tweet, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and you can keep up with the entire journey of the tiny houses, and then me even furthermore acquiring more properties at the Airbnb Money Instagram. It's just at Airbnb Money, and make sure y'all grab that ebook for real. I will include the link within the description to grab all of that. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. And please, please, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because you can expect a lot more information pertaining to business, money, as well as Airbnb on there as well. So thank y'all. We are finished. Done. Finito.